Okay. If you're in the building, let's see. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear. And welcome everybody. Oh, I can get some feedback. There we go. I think I am live. Once I start getting a little bit of response from the chat, let me know if you're there. Just looks like we have starting to grow a little bit. 7 in the building. Kind of up this a little bit. Just getting adjusted. I'm just starting to stream again and putting up content. I've been very busy, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about it a little bit. Oh shoot! See, listen, we got it on the phone and everything. Okay, Justin, you can hear me? Am I coming across well? Is it loud enough, or are you not hearing? Like, is it low or anything? My mic is right here. You know if you all can hear me. Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. A little 1 in the chat. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, Machiavelli, welcome. Okay. I think we're getting people. Justin, you said that the sound is just right for no issues. Okay, perfect. Okay, looks like people are coming in here now. Just want to say welcome. And one second. I got something for you all because, as we've been away, we've been also doing things. We've been upgrading things. We've been increasing things with the channel. Let me go ahead and show you all one of these new changes. Let me play this and I'll be right back. How you like that? That was all right. Welcome, Wrench and Machiavelli. Welcome to the chat. And let me put that banner back up. I just played the intro. You got a little intro video going on there for when I live stream, and hopefully, it's something good, right? Something that kind of brings up the energy and everything before we start to get into the subject matter. What's up, Wrench, Machiavelli, day ones, pretty much. Justin, okay. We got people in here. So like I mentioned before, right? It's 2023. Starting things off newer here with the channel. Not starting over on the channel, but really starting to put back in content because been pretty busy, right? Been pretty busy with just life stuff, right? Because life stuff takes primary, I guess, importance over this YouTube channel. But I do desire to continue to get back into it. Things are starting to be a little bit more regular for me. And as you see, I'm wearing my TEDx Detroit hoodie here. Me and my wife were able to go to the TEDx Detroit here. Let me actually share that with you. We're actually able to go to TEDx Detroit here in downtown. Well, not here in downtown Detroit, but in the city of Detroit. We were able to go together for the first time. It was pretty cool. Got our little badges and everything. And so that's what I've been busy with. So just going to things and everything. And also this, right? This, I got a little baby girl now, right? I'm a father for the first time. So, it's been kind of crazy in adjusting. I've been on paternity leave. So I've been able to take time off from work, still, paid paternity leave. So that's such a blessing right there. But I've been able to start to, bond and everything with my little baby girl. So, it's, it's new for me. And as a result, I took a little bit of a break from the channel at the for the end of 2022. But we're back, right? We're back. We're better than ever. It's 2023, and I got content coming out. I got a video actually dropping on Monday. If you take a look at my channel, it shows it that I have a channel or a video coming out, a video premiere coming out on Monday. and it's going to be covering like the elderly and cybersecurity, because many times when we talk about cybersecurity, we might talk about people hacking computers, hacking critical infrastructure, hacking banks and hospitals and healthcare systems and all of that type of stuff. But we don't really talk about some of those forgotten groups of individuals. And I would consider one of those forgotten groups is the elderly or the seniors within our lives. So, there more to come on that. I want you to check out that live stream or that video coming out. And that's going to be coming out on Monday. Let's see what else. I got my banners here because we want to cover a couple of things here today. It's so interesting because I frequent different parts of YouTube, right? Sometimes I'm in like the tech sector. Sometimes I'm in the sector where there are primarily African Americans or Black folk, and we kind of have a lot of different types of discussions. But sometimes those areas kind of coincide, so or they kind of overlap. So it was funny because we were having a discussion about tech resumes, right? Or tech resumes and posting in jobs, and we were having some contentious discussion. Because here, let me just start up the subject. Let's just start up the subject. Man, this is it. This is the topic. Lying on resumes. This is a heavy one, right? This is a heavy one because a lot of people kind of speak about that. Lying on resumes for people to be able to get different job positions. But yeah, we're going to just break it down here. We're going to just break it down because there was a lot of discussion happening about this, but it doesn't only happen on YouTube, but it also has happened in many like discussion forums, and it's been happening for years and years and years. And I think that I think it's a good conversation to have because it tells you of the implications of maybe going down that type of route. Like, okay, if I put something false on my resume or embellish, what might be some of the blowback or what might be some of the advantages? I'm not saying to do it. Actually, I recommend against it. That was the position that I was taking. We were having a discussion. I was going against it. And, I got all types of feedback and pushback about, saying that you shouldn't. But we're going to break it down. We're going to get real surgical with it. We're going to get very surgical with it. So one thing that we want to start off with is we want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of lying on your tech resume in order to gain a job position. So let's talk about the advantages, right? Because there are advantages. The advantages are, and I have some of these things listed. No, Doug. Oh, again, let me welcome a couple more people. Reg the bad guy. Welcome. Welcome, Reg. Reg is in that other sector that I go into, and we have these very contentious discussions, very fun and energy-filled discussions. So welcome, Reg. Welcome. Oh, I forgot I can click on them. Yeah, let me click on that. Welcome, Reg. Bacavelli, like I mentioned before. Thanks, Doug, for the congratulations. Yeah, man. But let me go back to that. So this is what Doug is congratulating me on for those who are just coming into the building. How do I do that? This. Right, I'm a dad now, and I was saying that was the reason why I was taking a little bit of time off of YouTube or off of doing more content creation. So I definitely appreciate the congratulations, absolutely, for those who are just coming in now. So yeah, me and little baby girl. So been taking time off. Let's see. So thank you again, Doug. Like I mentioned, welcome, Wrench Turner. Always welcome. We used to do the Sunday, not the Sunday Rumble, but the Hall of Game over at O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming through. Let me say hello to a couple of other people. Exposer, welcome back. Gabe Bay, the CompTIA gangster. I don't even have any CompTIA certs. But I do know that CompTIA are certs that are very valuable in the field. But, everybody don't agree with that. Maybe a discussion for another time. Doug, no, you have not missed the ChatGPT topic. So that's going to be the topic more towards the end. So we're going to hit on a couple of different things. We're going to talk about this line on tech resumes, and then we're going to get into ChatGPT. I just want to greet everybody first before we kind of really start to get going. Professor Black Ops says, as always, thank you all for coming. Thank you for coming so much. Very much so appreciate your support. You come to every single chat, every single live stream. I definitely appreciate it. Who else is here? Ken E. Welcome. Greetings to you too, brother. Greetings to you too. And Death Racer with the eyes. Me and his brother, we share a similar energy on YouTube. right? We're very much so in the know of a lot that's happening around multiple spaces. So Def Racer, thank you for coming through. I definitely appreciate your attendance, and we're gonna get into it. Exposer, welcoming, saying what's up to Black Ops. But yeah, so lying on resumes, tech resumes, yay or nay? Advantages, because there are some that will make you look more credible, right? If you say, hey, listen, I have a PhD in blankety blank blank blank, and I've led out these many teams, and this is what I do, and this is who I am. If that's not true, it still makes you look credible if nobody knows. So that's one of the advantages. It can make you look credible, even though you don't really have that credential. So that's one of the advantages. It could lead to getting a job offer. And that was the discussion that was being had previously. It could lead you to getting a job, right? If you say that you have this certification or this level of experience and have worked in this role for this number of years, and you look like you've worked in that role for that many years, even though you haven't, you still look more credible, and it can lead you to getting a job offer and changing your whole life. That was part of the discussion, is that this content creator, he said that he was trying to get people to the point where they can change their lives, right? He said he was getting people that were going from teachers to tech employees, or people that were going from truck drivers to tech employees. Not saying that one is better than the other, but the salaries definitely were. He said he was getting people going from 30K to 80, 60, 70, $80,000 a year. And it was changing people's lives. So that's one of the advantages. Yes, it is true that if you do put false information on your resume, it can lead you to getting a job offer that will grant you more salary and better positions and better career aspirations. Yes, that is a truth. Oh, I'm seeing people's responses already in the chat. I'm seeing no, so slow down. We still on the advantages. Slow down. Because Professor Blackout said no, don't do it. He teaches. Listen, we're going over that. Listen, we're hitting both sides of it. We're hitting the advantages and the disadvantages. We're doing both sides. Yeah, we don't do that over here, so it's cool. Okay, so we're doing the advantages and the disadvantages. We're looking at both sides here. Kenny says nay. He says nay. Listen, we're hitting both sides of it, so we just want to be very objective here. We want to be very objective and discuss it one thing at a time. Another thing that kind of how I mentioned again, it can allow you to get to the bag quicker, right? A lot of times people spend a lot of time studying for certifications, gaining experience, doing home labs, doing a lot of these different things. But if you just falsify your credentials, falsify your experience, you can get to the bag a lot quicker if you don't tell the truth, if you're telling false information, if you embellish a little too much, right, on your resume, it'll allow you to get to the bag much quicker than if you actually study. So those are the three advantages that I can think of. Can you all think of any? Can you all think of any other advantages that I might have left out? Feel free to throw them down there in the chat, because I'm still reading them, but we're just trying to understand what's going on here. What's up, Iori? Welcome, man. Iori says, being in tech, what would you suggest for those who are not degreed? Oh man, that seems like a here. I'm gonna star that, and we're gonna put that, because we're gonna hit an open discussion at the end of the live stream. I'm trying to be here for probably about an hour or so, because I gotta get back to family stuff, because my time is very much so in it's kind of crunched here and there. So I have like short spurts of a whole lot of time because of things like this. Things like this. I have a very short. I had to get to the bottles, get to the fetus. You got to burp the baby. You got to, help wife with the breast pumping and feeding and all that type of stuff. So it's just a lot going on. So but Iori, we're gonna try to hit that subject somewhere towards the end. I'm gonna try to remember that, but I'll have a star by it so that I'm able to get back to it quickly. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Iori. He said congrats and continue well wishes. Absolutely. What's up, Savage Scientists? Welcome again. I know you used to come back to the other live streams back in 2022, but we in 2023. We talking about lying on tech resumes, and I just gave all the advantages that I can think of, all the ones that I can think of. And again, thanks again, Iori. Definitely appreciate it. Siova, welcome, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. We talking about this right now. Lying on tech resumes. I've given you the advantages. I'm not seeing people put any more advantages on there. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Now, in my opinion, or from what I could think of, the advantages don't outweigh the disadvantages. I saw more disadvantages than advantages. And we can get into a couple here. Let's talk about it. So one is that you could be discovered during the hiring process or on the job, leading to rescinded offers or termination. So one thing about it is that, say, for instance, that you're interviewing for a job and that you have to put down a reference. You have to put down an individual who's the reference that needs to verify your credentials or your work experience. But say, for instance, you're found out that you might put down something that wasn't true. They actually went and called the reference that you put down, and what you put on your resume, what you put down as a reference wasn't true. You can have rescinded job offers. This stuff happens all the time. They might see everything good about you, but if they find that there is some level of integrity breached, if you are not telling the truth about something, they'll rescind job offers at the drop of a dime. Or if you're in that job and say, for instance, there's an audit, right? Or they might have a random checking of people's background. These things happen. People don't think it happens, but these things happen. You might end up in a situation where you're terminated from that role. You might end up in a situation where you're terminated from that role. So that's one disadvantage. But I'm seeing more people come into the chat. What's up, Jessica? Welcome to the chat over there in the UK. Welcome, and thank you for coming through. I definitely appreciate your attendance. Yes, scientists lying on resume. I didn't think it was a big thing until I started to look into it, right? It's been discussed so often. So people have definitely been talking about it. Exposure said you shouldn't lie on resumes because those tech assessments will expose you. That's another thing. I know a lot of technical roles, they're starting to go in the direction of really testing and looking at what you can actually do. So those assessments, they might have you take a test, a little small exam to test what those things are. They might have someone question you on certain tech type of information. But they also might have you perform some type of activity, right? I've seen situations where people would have to whiteboard or have to put things down on a board and explain exactly what they're doing. I've been a part of several of those type of interviews. So that's something that's important when you're being assessed for these roles, and you can get exposed for sure. James says, and welcome, James. He says, don't lie about not having a degree plus certification you don't have. Do change job titles, experience on the job. See, and that's where some of the gray line is, or the ambiguity is. I've seen things where people have spoken about it saying, hey, don't lie, but you can embellish, or you can kind of get into more details about things. Say, for instance, you were working as a data analyst, but while you were in that role, say, for instance, the senior data analyst had left the organization, and you started to pick up the roles and the responsibilities of that senior data analyst. I've heard people say that, hey, I put senior data analyst on my resume because that was the work that I was doing. I think that that's an embellishment that can be explained and justified, right? If you were doing the work of that role and you put that down on your resume, you're not lying. That was the role that you were working in. So these are some of the gray lines, and that's why I don't think it's just a clear cut right or wrong. It's wrong to lie, yes, but embellishment and really kind of giving a bit more color to your resume, I think that is permissible, and that's not something that's out of bounds. So James, I definitely see your point there. It says don't lie. Do change job titles and experience on the job. You can definitely go more into what your experience has been. Jessica says, imagine getting caught. Listen, you get caught lying on your resume or your CV. There are some other things that can happen, and I have a little bit more research on that. So we'll get into some of that. James is kind of bringing up what some of that conversation was. It says some coding boot camps tell folk to count their boot camp time as professional experience. Coldsmith actually got caught from doing this. So Coldsmith was one of these organizations, but this is another organization that, again, a couple of days ago, we had this conversation. A person who has a training academy, and this person is doing training, and he allows them to put the name of his organization and a job title. as experience, right? So I think that this person isn't doing something that's uncommon from Cole Smith, but I do think it is falsifying experience. If you didn't work in that role, if you were being trained, put academy or put like this was a training experience. Don't put that you worked in this role with this title for this number of years. That's lying. That's straight up lying because people are thinking that you worked in that role, not that you went through a training organization. So, yes, I agree with that. Siova says, will you know beforehand if they plan on testing? Plan on testing. Yes, typically, if you are doing a technical assessment, you will be informed that, hey, this is the first round of the interview is like you going through maybe like a questionnaire with like an HR representative or the recruiter. The second one, the second piece typically is like you might meet the hiring manager, but then a lot of times for these tech roles, the third step or maybe even the second step, they'll go through the process of saying, hey, you have a technical interview coming up where this information will be covered. So yes, you typically would know beforehand if you are being tested or assessed for what you have put on your resume or your technical expertise. So yes, absolutely. Lying on tech resumes. I got more disadvantages. I told you I have more disadvantages than advantages. So let's go on to the next one. Another one is that it can damage the candidate's professional reputation. Many times, these tech environments or these tech circles, they're smaller than you think. People are connected on LinkedIn. They're connected through going to conferences. They've worked together. And say, for instance, that you were at an organization where you lied about your experience and you got terminated. Who's to say that the next job that you haven't that you worked at, that you won't run into someone who worked with someone before, or they might have told a story about you, or they might have a connection with other hiring managers. You might run into a situation where your reputation is damaged to the point where you're blackballed. Many times people talk on YouTube, say, hey, YouTube shadow bans people. They take people out of here, right? They don't advertise their information. Well, listen, you can get blackballed and shadow banned from your job industry if they know that you lack integrity. Because if you lie about that, what else would you lie about in the work environment? And I'm not saying that people don't lie, right? I'm not ignorant. I'm not putting forward together this idea that I'm ignorant, that, hey, everybody is truthful and everybody is perfect and everybody is taking the moral high ground in this. No, people do lie on their resumes. They do lie about their experience. I just don't think it's the best course of action because of these disadvantages that I'm mentioning. Let's go on to another one. I'm seeing Professor Blackouts. He says, super small in the consulting world. Yeah, it's super small. This guy knows that guy and this other guy. This is your professional network. One thing about networks is that they're connected, right? Everybody is connected in some way, shape, or form in your professional network. And you don't want any breaches in that network. You don't want to burn any bridges, right? So that's really important. So I definitely agree with you right there, Professor Black Ops. Andre says, struggle security in chat. Salute, Andre. Welcome. Again, Andre is another brother where just like Death Racer, we frequent many of the spaces on YouTube and we share very similar energy. And we just enjoy ourselves, man. We just enjoy ourselves with the entertaining content all over these YouTube streets. So definitely appreciate you coming through, Andre. Appreciate you being here, man. Okay. Let me give you another disadvantage. In the long term, it can negatively affect the candidate's career progression. I mentioned that. And they may not have acquired the required skill set or experience, right? You try to cheat to the top, right? You try to cheat to the top and you don't really get that experience that you need, where you're so used to taking shortcuts. You're so used to cutting in line, cutting around the people who actually put in the work, put in the hard work. You might put yourself in a situation where you really haven't learned anything. And you're just going from job to job to job, getting by, struggling by, rather than you actually put in the work, those long hours of study, those projects that you put time into, those certifications that you study for and pass, those degrees that you've been able to acquire, those job roles that you've been able to beat out the other competition for, right? That's something. And again, speaking about competition, that was another argument on the other side, saying that, hey, many other groups of individuals come from different countries, right, into the U.S., and they come in with falsified credentials. and they're getting all the jobs. Apparently, this was the argument. They're getting all of the jobs to the point where if you don't lie, you're behind the bar. If you don't falsify information on your resume, then you'll be behind them. And I think that that's such a wrong way to kind of look at it. Is that it's like, okay, they're cheating, so I'm a cheat too. They're lying, so I'm a lie too, in order to get ahead. I think that just kind of one lie begets another lie, and another lie, and another lie. You get into a situation where you're covering up one lie after another lie, and it just becomes something that's not very manageable in a professional career. Where, again, this is a recommendation. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but this is a recommendation that, hey, it's just easier to go. Well, I wouldn't say it's easier, because lying and cheating is easier, but covering up lies is very difficult as well. Covering up one lie after another lie after another lie. So, Yusuf, welcome, Yusuf. It says, do you have any idea about EJPT version 2? Now I am informed about EJPT. It's a beginner or entry level type of penetration testing certification. It's a very good certification from what I've heard. They have a heavy focus on like scanning and web application penetration testing. I'm not informed about the specifics about version 2, but I hear that it's a very good certification that if you're looking at starting an offensive cybersecurity, great certification to get. I know people who have acquired it. It kind of came a little bit when I was a bit more senior in my roles, but I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it. So I would say that about that. And I knew I can answer that quickly rather than yours, Iori, so we can get back to yours, but I knew I can answer that one very, very quickly. But welcome, Yusuf. Welcome to the chat. Okay. Let's see what else. Another disadvantage. Let's see. Now, this is another one that they said that doesn't happen or couldn't happen, is that there is potential legal action that can be taken against you, typically in 3 different forms. One, fraud, right? If the candidate lied on their resume to obtain a job or a benefit, they can be charged with fraud. Another one is breach of contract. That can be some legal implications as well. If the candidate lied on their resume and the employer can prove that they would not have hired the candidate if they had known the truth, they can sue the candidate for breach of contract. Because that's the thing that we do, right? When we sign these job offers, these are contractual agreements between you and the potential employer. You are a business, really. A lot of times it is business to business. I know we consider individual contributors and managers and whatnot, but we are signing a contract. And even when you are going through your resume or going through when you are going through job applications, they make you sign something to say that all the information is true and valid, right? So if you breach that, if you provide false information, not that say that it's perjury, it's not as far as perjury, but it is, you are breaking or breaching the contract between yourself and that potential employer. Defamation. If the employee suffers damages as a result of the candidate's false statements on their resume, they can sue the candidate for defamation. This can definitely happen. Say, for instance, you try to come in as a network analyst, right? Or a network administrator. But, actually, I'm sorry, you lied. So you skipped the step. So now you're a senior network analyst. No, you skipped it even more. You're a senior network architect. So you're in charge of everybody. You're giving all of the rules. You're giving all of the direction. You're a senior network analyst or architect. And say, for instance, you give some direction to some less senior individuals to go ahead and upgrade this particular switch, or go ahead and upgrade or put this patch on this type of devices and send that patch out to everywhere. And say, for instance, you take down a large segment of the network because you probably weren't doing it correctly. You were probably given advice to do it all at once rather than doing it one segment at a time or one piece at a time. Or you might not even know, because you didn't study and you didn't really go into the process of really knowing how to deploy patches. You didn't put it in a test environment first and looking at the efficacy of the patch before you put it into a production environment, right? There can be a lot of things that happen there, and you take down a segment of the network, and you might cause some damages to some devices. There could be potential legal action taken against you if you damage devices, if you damage equipment because you lied about your credentials. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. So those are some legal actions that could happen, but also did want to bring your attention to, people talk about this stuff on Twitter, all types of places on the internet. And I saw this tweet that was recommending it, right? It says, everything is fake. I had a job start off at 65K, then I got promoted and got a raise to 80K in 3 months. I lied about having a degree. Laugh out loud. They think it's funny. They never checked. So lie on the application today is my point, right? They went from 65K to 80K in 3 months because they lied about having a degree. It happens. Again, it does happen. It's out there. And that's one of the advantages. They got a bag increase. Hey, that's what they did. That's what they did. Let me check the chat again, seeing people talking. Professor Backoff says, if your resume was used for key man position to win a bid, you could be sued for loss of revenue for losing the bid. Absolutely. In the consulting world, many times what happens is that you might work for a consulting firm and they will put you in front of an organization that they're trying to win business from. I think probably in Professor Blackoff's case, he's talking about the government. He's talking about the U.S. government. So the U.S. government is also doing an additional check of credentials. They're checking and they're going even a layer deeper as into the verification of the credentials of the people that your organization is putting forward. There can be a breach of contract. You can get sued. You can definitely get sued for lying on your resume in that case. Lying on your resume. What's up, Lowcast? Welcome, welcome. He said, elbow cough. I got you. I got you, Lowcast. Welcome, Lowcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know Lowcast is also a tech guy to some degree. Kind of speaks about a lot of tech hardware, and you were having some conversation about some microprocessors the other day. So welcome, man. Welcome, man. Seven Scientist says nice. DJ Nav, listen, he just sitting back cooling it. He said he trying to see what's going on. He got the pop, he even got popcorn, he got the drink. He trying to see what's happening. Welcome, DJ Nav. Welcome. Welcome through. Says just got get caught in, let's see, lie about times on a job. I think I get it. I think you know a guy that got caught for lying about something in their job. Absolutely. This stuff happens all the time, right? Professor Blackout says DOD life. So he was talking about the DOD. Yeah. So there could be some legal actions taken against you, right? Some legal actions can be taken against you. And I showed you that tweet, right? That tweet. Sheesh. They went from 65K to 80K in 3 months, and they lied about having a degree. So that's one of the advantages. But that's can be what happens. Now I want to go to a couple of discussion posts. Let me present here. Let's see. I want to stop sharing that one. And I want to share this one because this gives even more of a discussion, kind of even broader within the tech field that we can see. A lot of times it's with these on Blind. Blind is like a tech forum where people kind of have discussions about these tech type of conversations. And I want to bring your attention to this one. Let me make this one a little bit larger. Actually, let me go. I'm gonna bring this one. I'm gonna bring this down so you all can see it better. I think I'll actually zoom in a bit here. Which one is this one? I have several up. Okay, let me zoom in here. And this is from a post on Blind that was from 2019, August 21st, 2019. When this person put this up, he says, I recently took a boot camp course on software testing. They taught us how to do test automation using Selenium. Afterwards, they faked your resume, and a lot of the students got hired with 90K jobs. This person said, morally, I can't do this. But how often do people lie on resumes? A lot of jobs require 5 years of experience, and I'm getting no offers since I have none. So this is one of the responses. This is the person who works for Postmates, and they speak, and they said people lie on their resumes a lot. They said they don't advise it, and he says, I've had to rescind offers, right? So this goes back to what I was saying previously. Organizations can rescind your offer. You can have an offer, right? A guaranteed offer. But then they can rescind it if those background checks uncover lies on the resume. So this is one of those disadvantages, right? Then they kind of get into some more conversation. A little bit of what we talked about, names and companies, is what they might pull out. The easiest lies to catch are prior companies' dates of employment and education. Wow. That kind of directly aligns with the conversation I was having with that individual on YouTube. They were lying. People, some of their students were lying about the company, which was their training organization, dates of employment and education, and what the roles. They were actually lying about their roles as well. Shady business, shady business. Other people said, don't do it. We lost a new hire recently for lying on their resume. And that's the thing that they're saying. Like, the only thing that can happen is that you lose your job, but not only losing your job, but losing credibility, losing those individuals that are professional from that professional network. I mean, hey, do you want to take the chance? Let's go to another post because they talk about this several other times. Let's go to this one. Let me kill that one. Let's go to another post here. I'm going to get to the chat in a couple of seconds. I see you are chatting. I want to hit a couple of these. Let's see. Okay, this one here. This one is interesting too. Again, blind. This is like a tech forum where they're speaking about lying on resumes. And this person works for Amazon. And this post was posted back in 2021, in January of 2021. Let's see. So this one says, is this the right one? Yeah, lied on the resume. It says, I received an offer from Apple 3 years ago, but later it was rescinded due to misrepresentation of one of my jobs. I had it as if I had 2 more years in the X company. I opened up to the recruiter thinking they would forgive me, but boy, I was naive. Is there a grace period where I can reapply, or am I banned forever? I am concerned that I may receive an offer and may leave my current job and then a few weeks later find it in the system. Or should I ask up front if I am in the system as a quote unquote bad boy? One thing that's interesting about blind is that people always put their total compensation. So this person has a total compensation of 260. And they say after reading, this is an update. After reading all of the comments, I still love you. Some comments were a-holish as expected. Some were kind of passionate. Yes, I did learn my lesson. And hopefully this post is a good reminder not to do what I did. Not to do what I did, right? This person lied on their resume, got their job rescinded 3 years later, got their offer rescinded 3 years later, and now they see and they advise people to not lie on their resumes. They advise that it not happen. Let me look at this quickly. Look at a couple of comments here. Let's see. Somebody said Apple dodged a bullet from Qualcomm. Somebody from IBM said this. Just lie about your identity so you'll get a fresh start in their system. Okay. That's one way to do it. That's definitely one way to do it. Okay. This one says, no, I'm not gonna. Some of these are very troll type of comments, so don't worry about some of these. It says, if you lied before, how are they to know that they can trust you now? Given the number of applicants, they have no incentive to take a risk on you. Can be blackballed from the organization. You can definitely be blackballed. Let me go to the chat really quickly. Keep It Techie says, peace. Welcome, Keep It Techie. My brother, my friend, welcome to the chat. And thank you for coming through, man. Let's see. Thanks, fam. I'm here to bless the channel. Yeah, thank you for coming through. Thank you for blessing the channel, Lowcast. We know everywhere you go, you bless the channel. Yeah, Keep It Techie. Blind is a cool spot. All you gotta do is put like in your work email, and then you can kind of look at the forum. That, and also Fishbowl is another one. But I think Fishbowl is more for consultants. Blind is more for like software engineers. Let me just do this so I can get to some of these comments. Let's see. CD said depends on the sector. Okay. CD says I'm in law. You can get away with fudging types of legal work you've done, but in tech, I'm guessing it's harder to get away with even small lies. I wouldn't even say that, right? I wouldn't even say it's hard to get away with small lies. And I'm not saying, again, I don't recommend doing lies on your resumes or anything, but I would say that embellishing on some of the information, it can give you an advantage. I kind of brought up the example before that, say, for instance, you were working in a junior role, like a junior security analyst, and that the person that was above you, like a senior analyst or something, they got fired or they left the organization, and you started taking on their responsibilities. If you put that you worked in the role as a senior analyst, that might be something that you can get away with. That isn't an embellishment. but it is truth to what you were doing because you were working in a senior role capacity, and you can explain that. You can explain that. So job titles, I think that that's something a little bit more. You can wiggle that, but if you've never worked in that role ever before, if you never worked for that company, if you don't have that degree, if you don't have that certification, and you put it on your resume, that's just a straight up lie. That's just a straight up lie. But I do understand your point that you can kind of embellish about some of the type of work that you've done. You can put that down as some of your own professional experience. So I definitely do agree with you there. All right. Let's go back to that post. We might just look at a couple of more here. Let's see. Let me make this larger. This says this is a slap in the face to all the candidates that go through the hiring process with fairness and professionalism. We value integrity a lot. This is somebody from Apple. Value integrity a lot, something you lacked entirely, lack of integrity and a lie rather than an innocent mistake. Insta pimp. So PIP is performance. That's like what they put you on before they fire you. So that's what the PIP is. If that happens on the job. Now again, it happens. But if you get caught, this is pretty much what will happen to you if you get caught, right? This is definitely what will happen to you if you get caught. And yeah, Reddit is another great one too. So we're still in this conversation, and if you're just coming in, we've been talking about lying on your tech resumes, lying on your resumes, if it's good or not. We've talked about all the disadvantages. We talked about some of the advantages, right? You can skip the line, you can get to the front, you can get that job that you want, that you don't really have experience for. But I heavily recommend against it because it can damage your professional network. It can blackball you from different jobs and individuals that you might want to connect with. It can leave you in a position where you are really unskilled and they're putting you in leadership and more senior level roles, and you're not ready for that. But there can also be legal action taken against you. Professor Black Ops had brought up one. I have several cases, but I think that might be just embellishing or just going too crazy into the point. I do want to show one more. I do want to show you all a YouTube video. Let's see. Seven Scientists say, yeah, I know, right? And CD says, I've also seen references to people, giving references to people where I have embellished on their behalf, especially people in junior roles. It happens. It does happen, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. Like, I'm not ignorant of that point. So definitely point to you, right? That's definitely true that it does happen. But I think that there is a difference between an embellishment and a lie, right? If you've done something similar, right, and that might be expressed with more veracity, you might explain it with more words or more type of experience. Now, if you haven't done it at all, that's a lie. But if you've done something and you kind of amplify it for that person that you're doing the reference for, that is an embellishment. And people do that, right? People definitely do that. But if you're just talking about straight up lying, right? Say for instance, that person didn't even work in that role, and you were like, yeah, they worked here, they did this and that, and that's the lie. So I guess I'm just mainly focusing on the clear-cut delineation between embellishments and lies there. Where in this case, where I was having this discussion earlier this week, this individual was cool with lying. They were very okay with just lying completely about roles. Okay. Sub Josh and PBK. Okay. Just saying what's up to everybody. Okay. I just want to look at one more video on this, and then we'll move over to the ChatGPT. And this is another point that we were talking about, is about background checks, right? So if you think that you got away with it, if you think that you might be able to get away with it, I want to give you a little bit more visibility into what they actually do with reputable organizations and background checks. What actually happens there, and what level of scrutiny or what level of, I guess, visibility that you might have into what that process is. So let me go ahead and share this. Let me stop sharing that, and let me let's see, share this, and I'm going to share. Excuse me. I'm going to share a Chrome tab, share audio, and yes, it's this one. Okay. I might just pause it a little bit here and there throughout the discussion, but yeah, we're going to take a look at this here. Let me maximize the screen, see how that looks. That looks all right. Let me go ahead and play this.
Hello, job seekers. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. And today we're going to be talking about what really happens if you lie on your resume. Now, I'm a little disappointed that I have to do a video on this, but I've been asked this question a couple times now. Well, what if I put this on my resume and I really don't? And what if I put this on underneath this experience and I really don't have it? And so I feel the need to address this to let you know, as an HR person, I can tell you firsthand what really happens if you lie on your resume. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment now. Consider doing that. It really does help our channel. If you feel like this data is helpful, as always, give us that thumbs up in the end if you feel it has benefited you. Okay, so you are trying to apply for all of these jobs and you keep feeling like you're missing out and not getting through all these applicant tracking systems because you're missing one or two key skills. And so you decide instead, let me see if I can put something on my resume that I don't really have. Now, there's varying degrees of this. Some people will go so far as to put a degree that they didn't actually earn. Maybe they went to college for 3 years and didn't actually graduate, but they'll put on there that they graduated. Or there's ones that will fudge their dates on their employment. Or there's other ones that will say, oh, yes, we did Lean Six Sigma, no worries, and I have that skill. So as an HR person, I want to tell you, please do not do this, because I have been involved in multiple terminations of employees that it's come out that they falsified their resume. Now, before somebody comes back at me and says, well, a resume is not a legal document, you are correct. It's not an actual legal document. And you can highlight things, parts of your history and your background on it, and it's your choice what goes on there and what doesn't. But when you start lying on a resume and misleading an employer, that's where you get into trouble.
Okay, she said a lot there, right? So this is a person who has been in the HR process, right? This is a person that's in HR that's responsible for hiring. She goes into detail about her actually being involved in these type of cases where they have had to take action against individuals who have lied on their resume. This isn't something that I'm making up. This isn't something that anybody is making up. They do take time into doing background checks and verifying the people that they're bringing into their organizations. And I just think that you might get lucky and they might not find everything that you've lied about, but you are taking a risk. And I think that that's kind of why I wanted to bring this here, because she's an experienced professional in the field. She's not just somebody out there just saying something. This is somebody who is involved in the process. So let's keep going. But if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, I'll try to highlight them as we're going through the video.
And I don't want you to think that if you do it on your resume and you get past the interview and get a job offer and you're with them for 6 months, a year, that the issue is no longer is going to come back to haunt you, because it still does. I have been involved in terminations of employees that are 3 years in, and then it comes out that they lied about their degree.
Right.
And what happens is those people are terminated, and they are terminated for cause. And what that means in the US is you were terminated for something that was your fault, not something that's like a layoff where it's not your fault or something. And
do you know what that means? If you were terminated for cause and not a layoff, you get restricted from benefits. So I haven't seen this video all the way through, but she might even go more into it. So sometimes a lot of times when companies might lay you off, as Google is doing now, they give severance packages. They'll give you a severance package where they might give you, 6 weeks or 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of payment. You might get health insurance. You might get unemployment. You might get benefits that will help you stay on your feet until you find another job. They even at times will give assistance in helping you find another job. But if you're terminated for cause, right, you don't get unemployment. You don't get any of those benefits. Like she mentioned, it's your fault. So you're missing out on some of the benefits of working for that organization if you lie and falsify information, if you're terminated for that reason. Let's keep going.
Unfortunately, that is going to then carry through with you for the rest of your career. Because one of the questions you're going to see a lot when you're applying for different companies is, have you ever been terminated, fired, or asked to resign from a position?
Uh-oh. Have you ever been terminated from a position? I see this on every job application, right? So not only, again, like I mentioned, you're going to have to cover up the lie that you had from before. You lied about that degree. You got terminated from that job role because you lied about that degree. Now, every time you apply for a job, you have to put that you have to lie again, because who wants to expose that they got terminated from their job because they lied on like about a degree or some type of certification or some type of credential, some type of job role? You have to stack these lies for the rest of your career, right? If you're looking at getting forward. That's why it's advisable, like she mentioned, like I mentioned, like a lot of other people have mentioned, even in those chats in Blind, that hey, it's just advisable that you don't. It's just advisable that you don't. But let her keep going. I'm gonna keep looking at you all's comments too. I'm gonna try to highlight.
And you are then going to have to say yes. And the first question that they're going to ask you is, explain why, or tell me why. And when you get to something that is like falsification of information, that is something that companies consider as a core value or a core ethic. And so if they feel like you're willing to lie on your resume to them, what are you going to else lie to them about in the future? So it's not something that you should ever consider doing. Now, if you do feel like you're not being considered for positions because you're missing a key skill and it's stopping you from getting through the applicant tracking systems, there is a way that you can get through the applicant tracking systems without lying. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. So let's say, for example, the position that you're requiring or that you're applying to is continually asking for a master's degree. And you don't have a master's degree on your resume, but you're in process of getting one. Like you've started already taking classes or you have applied to start that process. The second you start those activities, you can put those on your resume. And when you put them on your resume, you just need to be really clear of saying, began attending degree or school for a master's degree in human resources. And then remember, applicant tracking systems think black and white, ones and zeros. So they are going to let you through if you have anything on there for a master's degree.
Wow. Did y'all just hear that game that she just get? That was like amazing, right? And this is something that I've also done myself. I got my master's in cybersecurity technology in 2021. And even so, I started my education, or I started my degree back in 2019. So it took me 2 years to finish that degree. Between 2019 and 2021, I had that master's degree on my resume, but I didn't just put it there like acquired or obtained, right? I put it there as expected graduation date of this, or currently pursuing. I don't remember the exact wording that I put on there, but it was on my resume. So every manager, senior manager, director role that I went for, where a lot of times the master's degrees are required, though, like I would still pass the filters and get those emails or get those interviews. So that's something that you can do. You don't have to have completed something. You could have went through a training or currently in the process of learning. You could even be going through, say for instance, one of the requirements is CCNA. You can even be going through the CCNA training. You can sign up for a Udemy class or buy a CCNA book. And you can put CCNA currently training or currently pursuing on your resume in order for you to bypass those filters. Just like she mentioned, they only look at black and white things. So I think that you need to really get a bit more creative than just lying on your resume, that there's ways around, the filters, they're going to forget you, or they're not going to pick you up, or no one's going to see that. And, it can even be situations. I know that even when I was pursuing my master's degree, there were organizations that were saying, we want you to come in and we want to pay for it. We want to pay for the rest of your degree for you to come into our organization because we know that this is a requirement. So, hey, this is an invested interest. We want you to have this degree and you want to get it. and let me go ahead and give you some money in order to continue to pursue that. That's very good advice, where you don't have to lie. You don't have to lie, and you're not even embellishing. You're being absolutely truthful. You're being absolutely truthful about your experience and where you're going. Let me see what other people are saying. Ethical Gray. Is it considered a lie if a certification you had is expired? If you put that it was, I think you should put that it was expired on your resume, because you aren't a current holder. I have certifications that have expired that I'll put, hey, this certification is there. It's expired on this date, right? I'll put like when it expired. But I wouldn't say it's a complete lie if you just put it on there. All right. If they ask you about it, say, oh yeah, I had that one and it was expired. So you know, that might be right, that gray line of embellishing them and whatnot. But to keep it text safe, he says, no, it's not. Yeah, boom, right? No, it's not. You actually got the certification, just stated that it's expired. Boom, right? Saying the exact same thing there. LinkedIn asks for expiration dates for that reason. Yep, definitely on LinkedIn. Seven Scientists says, I used expected grad. See, listen, this isn't something that's a secret either, right? It's not a secret. Seven Scientists has done it. I've done it. Expected graduation date, right? And he's looking at a PhD program now, right? Listen, if he applies and he gets into his PhD program, he can put PhD expected graduation, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And then all the email or all the filters from the job postings, he'll get past all of those because he has that on his resume. You know, take advantage of good advice. You don't have to just lie. You don't have to lie to get by. Yes, in progress is another one. Ethical Gray says, I've used in progress for certifications I was actively working on. Same here. I've also done that for certifications, right? So that is an actively pursuing, in progress, expected graduation date, expected acquisition date. All of these things are correct. And Savage Scientist is absolutely agreeing with you. I just want to go over a couple of more things here. Exposure said Dr. Savage of Swampland University. Whoa, slow down. What do you mean? Savage is on it, man. Okay, let's just listen to a little bit more of this.
Great. And then it will be up to the people who are actually looking at your information to make a choice. Mm-hmm. Is that a firm requirement that you have to actually already have that master's degree, in which case you're going to get in the no pile, right? They're willing to, or they have the freedom to be able to say, yes, that is or isn't a requirement. Or are they going to say, oh my gosh, this person's experience is so amazing that I am willing to interview them still, see how it goes, and then see how far along they are with the master's, and potentially that's enough. And as long as they continue down this path, they would be a great addition to our team. So the difference here is, though, you're not lying and saying that you have a master's degree. That is absolutely wrong. We even have a saying in HR when it comes to lying on any kind of HR paperwork or company paperwork, I should say, or resume, and that is, you lie, you die. If you lie on it, it's an ethical core value. You're gone, you're done.
I think she just answered your question, right? Clayt the JW. Welcome. You asked, what typically happens to those, one, when it is found out that they are lying even to a high degree? And that's the answer, right? That's the answer, right? If you lie, you die, is what she just said. If you lie, you get terminated. You know, and that can come with other things. You might not only get terminated, but looking at the degree of it, I mean, they might pursue some legal action against you. That's not the most common thing that happens, but it can happen depending on the circumstance for your termination and what you lied about. But you can also damage your professional network. That's another thing that we talked about earlier. Could damage that professional network. You can be going around, and individuals might be able to recognize you, saying, "Oh yeah, this guy lied about this and that." I don't think that we can bring him into our organization. It can also stifle or hinder your development. You might be getting by with lies and lies and lies, but at the same time, you might not be getting that real experience because you've been lying about it. So, you know, those are some things that might come with it. But really, to answer your question, like she said, if you lie, you die, you get terminated. And then you have to go through your whole career either continually lying on job applications that you've never been terminated or fired, or you'll have to be explaining that away or trying to explain it away for the rest of your career as you apply to job roles. So just finish this up.
But by putting things like this on your resume in a different way, you can still get through the applicant tracking systems. And this is true not only for things like education, but it's also true for skills. So let's say that the positions that you're applying for are continually asking for experience with Lean Six Sigma, but you don't yet have that where you've done that in a company. And this is especially true for recent graduates where they just haven't had a chance to get that experience in a company. Remember, the systems are going to search for your data based on the different keywords. So if you choose to go out to a class and take a class, whether that's an online, like a LinkedIn learning class, or if it's with a college or university or just some other entity that's offering a Lean Six Sigma class, you can then put that training or that certification or skill on your resume. You can say attended, Lean Six Sigma 101 with the following organization. And then when the applicant tracking system goes in and somebody enters in, I'm looking for somebody with this skill, Lean Six Sigma, you come up in the search. But you're not lying about a skill that you have. You're very clearly stating on your resume, this is the skill that I have, and this is how I got it.
Right.
So you at least get past the system, and then you have the second part, which is the actual person that's going to look at your information and say, okay, well, they may not have done this yet in the company, but they have a great background with everything else. And I can see that they've done training in Lean Six Sigma. That's enough. Let's bring them in and have an interview. Is it always going to get you past, it always gets you in for that interview? No, but you have a much, much better chance. The systems, again, only see ones and zeros. People are going to look at you more holistically. They're going to look at you to say, oh, well, I'm going to look at all of their skills and not necessarily just this one. All right, job seekers. So the net of this video is, please, I am begging you, do not ever.
All right, we heard enough. Thank you. I think she gave very good advice, right? Gave some inside information about what happens if you lie and you're caught, that termination piece, but also giving you a little bit of game about, hey, how to bypass some of those filters with you really getting into like, hey, I have this in progress, or I'm pursuing this and pursuing that. So kind of to put a bow on this, we know that lying happens. People lie on their resumes, people lie in interviews, people lie about their credentials, people lie about their experience. It happens, but it is not the best course of action to go down if you really don't want to layer lie on top of lie. You don't want to do the lie sandwich. What did my man say? He said, oh man, I forgot it. I saw it up here somewhere. Your savvy scientist said, you got to eat the lie sandwich. You got to lie on top of lie on top of lie. Keep It Techie said lies on top of lies. I mean, stacks on top of stacks, lies on top of lies. And really, it just will allow you to not really kind of go down that rabbit hole. And I understand that people are like, these are difficult times financially. These are difficult times. Inflation is up. Even with tech workers, certain tech workers are getting laid off of their jobs and being kind of replaced by things like automation, and people are being replaced by things like, well, they think that they're being replaced by things like ChatGPT and whatnot. It's hard out here, but I don't think that the solution to things being difficult is lying on your resume or lying to get by. I think, right, another YouTuber, Dewan Lightfoot, he mentions things like lab every day, right? This is something that allows you to get more and more experience so that when you get into those job roles, you'll be prepared for those roles. Not that you falsify that information. You don't falsify your experience in order to get by. It's just not advisable. And again, it happens. It happens, and it's hard out here, but I don't think lying is the solution. That's just my personal opinion, but you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do in these tech interviews and on your tech resume. Just want to put a button on that one. Oh man, I've been here for over an hour. I'm trying to think of if I need to do a part 2, or if we should continue with the ChatGPT, because I got a whole lot of content on ChatGPT. I'm just looking at my notes here. It's just what do you all want to do? I'm gonna let you all vote. I'm gonna look at some of the comments and I'm gonna let you all vote. You want me to keep on going, or should we do a part 2? Let's see. Femi said knowledge of works for skills. Absolutely, absolutely. Homeless. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Of course, personal projects. Work for skills. Homeless too. Oh, I think you were probably responding to some stuff I was saying before. Okay, so I was saying people it's difficult out here. Inflation, people are getting laid off, and some people are also homeless too. I think that's what you were saying. Yeah, man, it's hard. You said, of course, personal projects. Yeah, personal projects, right? Volunteering for different organizations, going through training organizations, and kind of showing one thing about like your different projects that you're able to do. Oh man, and the perfect person to mention now. Kev IT Tech Sport, he has a great YouTube channel. He goes over a lot of tech content, very much so focused on help desk. He has a training class himself. Other content creators too are in here too. Keep It Techie is in here. He does he has a Linux course on Code Academy on the YouTube channel. I think it has almost 1 million views now, teaching great information. Seven Scientists has a channel that goes over a lot of tech information about his experiences. Professor Black Ops also, I can't see him in the chat right now, but Professor Black Ops also has information. You can get a lot of information and skills from YouTube content creators, and maybe even looking at some of my content too. Like some of my content might be good as well in order for you to gain better understanding and knowledge and put that into projects. And these projects can also be put on your resume too. Have you been able, like, so specifically in cybersecurity, have you been able to maybe download maybe something like Security Onion and set up a SIM, a security incident and event management system, utilizing tools like Snort, utilizing tools like Splunk, the free versions of being able to configure different rules to detect certain types of attacks? That's something that you can put within a project, can bundle it up, speak intelligently to it, and that you'll be able to go ahead and present that to an employer. And then you can also start to pursue different Splunk certifications. So you can download these free tools. Say, for instance, Splunk, right? Because I know Professor Keep It Techie speaks about Splunk on his channel. He has some videos about that as well. Very popular tool for many enterprise organizations for incident detection or security type of detection. You can download the free version, configure different rules and configure different detections for different types of attacks, and that you can put that within a project format, and that you can pursue some of those certifications, put that in progress, and you can get maybe a security analyst within a security operations center type of role because you've been able to do that and you're pursuing those certifications. So that's just one example of a project where you don't have to lie about that. You do not have to lie about that at all. You do not have to lie about that. You can do that and put that on your resume. Let's see who else is in here, because I think that I was missing some of the comments. You guys are talking, man. Appreciate everybody being here. I've seen that we've probably been up to 30, maybe 40, maybe something like that in the chat today. I thank you all for coming through and checking out this content. Knowledge of skills at work, homeless too. Like I was mentioning, Kev IT support has information that you can put into some of your personal projects on his channel. Ethical Gray, this training on learning platform sandboxes. Listen, I think I just answered your question, Ethical Gray. Yes, all that counts as experience and skills. I know that. So for those who don't know what I actually do, I work for a consulting organization, and I work as a cybersecurity manager, consulting manager, and I interview people all the time. And at times when I don't see, if you don't have certifications or degrees, projects also count as some of that experiences as well. You can put down that you've done this or you've participated in these capture the flag events. A lot of people use that as a type of experience. They might have went to like the Pico capture the flag. They do that every single year. They have capture the flags everywhere. All you have to do is Google it, capture the flag cybersecurity events. You can participate in that and put that on your resume, and you can say the things that you've learned, the different skill sets, like maybe like web application penetration testing, or maybe you did like a hardware one. Like, so you can put all that stuff on your resume, and I'll ask you about it. I've asked people about it, and I've had some very great conversations about the actual experience and the projects and the things that they can do within the work environment. That all counts as experience and skills, to answer your question, Ethical Great. Exposure, everybody's saying what's up to Kev, because Kev has helped out everybody. Definitely. Thank you so much, Kev, for coming through. Femi says, awesome, bro. Yeah. CD says, what makes it tougher is knowing your competition is likely lying. It does make and that's the thing. Like, we shouldn't be ignorant of the facts, right? It does make it tougher to know. Like, say for instance, you're working side by side with somebody, you've labbed all day, right? You went through the Kev Tech IT course. You went to Keep It Techie's channel learning all about different Linux distributions. You struggled and you studied struggle security, right? You struggled to the top. And you see that somebody right on the side of you says that, hey, I just lied to get here. I think what happens is that a lot of times things kind of sort themselves out. People have lied. They will lie. They might be lying within roles that you're in right now. But really, I don't know. I take more of an individualistic type of mentality about it, is that, hey, if they're lying, they're going to have to deal with those consequences themselves. They're going to have to deal with whatever pushback or whatever issue. I'm not about to get into all of that. I just know what I had to do to get to where I had to get, and I'm going to do the best job that I can possibly do, because that experience is unparalleled. If you actually have the experience and that person doesn't, I mean, I don't know. I know what you mean, CD, though. It does make it hard knowing that your competition is lying, and they can at times get jobs above you. And that's why I think one thing that recruiter has said is that the resume says one thing, but what you do when you're introduced to the hiring manager or the team is a completely different thing. So I empathize with that idea, is that they're lying, but it's a lot that comes with that lying. Lie responsibly. See, they like, I don't empathize with that. I don't empathize with that. Oh man, he said keep going. Clay said, I would say make the separate one for the ChatGPT. Me too. Listen. You listen. I'm with you. I am with you. I think I should do. Yep. Part 2. Okay, we getting 2 votes. Do a part 2. Enjoy the family. Facts. Femi said, I know a guy that lied so much to get a data analyst job. He got fired because he did not differentiate between roles. And oh my gosh. So a guy lied about, and that's like a basic thing in data analysts or within that type of role, to differentiate between rows and columns. That's like a basic thing. And that's another thing that we mentioned about the disadvantages, is that you might lie to get the role, but you might not be able to perform the basic things within that role. You might got like a cheat sheet of some things that can impress the hiring manager, but you might not know how to do the basic things that you learn when you actually have that experience, or you actually go through that certifying process. So yeah, Savage Scientist said, yeah, do a part 2. Femi said, keep going. Listen, Femi, I think you're the only one who said keep going. I think you're the only one that said keep going. See, even Professor Black, I said, oh man, differentiate between rows and columns. This is awesome stream. Definitely appreciate you coming through, Seven Scientists, and thank you for your feedback. Definitely, Kev. Happy to see you here too. Femi says, yes, sir, Black Ops. And I think that we are going to make this a part 2. So this is going to be a part 1, and we're going to do the one on ChatGPT and cybersecurity. I'm telling you, I have my notes here. Like I'm ready, right? I'm ready because I want to talk about how Google went into code red as soon as they heard about ChatGPT. About a lot of people's responses saying that, hey, they're going to replace our jobs. Are they going to be replacing people's jobs? A lot of universities are taking some responses against the ChatGPT because they're finding that people are using it to cheat because it can write complete essays about certain subjects. And I want to talk about some of the cybersecurity implications of that. Some people are going crazy. Let me tease it a little bit here. Because I'm gonna tease it a little bit and I'm gonna close it out. This is a tweet that I thought that was kind of interesting. This one says the whole Marcus Hutchins. He is I think he's also a YouTuber, but he's a popular cybersecurity professional. Heard a lot about him. It says that the whole ChatGPT writing malware thing is so overhyped. The bar for writing malware has never been high. There are loads of free, ready-to-go examples online. There are an entire industry of malware as a service, and the majority of malware authors are like 15 years old. He says all ChatGPT has done is potentially open up the field to people who don't possess the skills to actually operate the malware they've generated. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a second, but I do think that I actually agree with Marcus here. I know of websites like Exploit DB, and that's something that we can get into in the next live stream, like Exploit Database, or like all types of places on the internet that has different code samples, have malware that you can just download and deploy at the drop of a dime. I do, and just like you said, do think that ChatGPT had made it more accessible to individuals who didn't have those previous skills. But I do think it's up for discussion. I think that we can talk about a lot of this stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna close it out there because I'm tempted to keep going because the information is so good. But the next one, I want to start off with ChatGPT and cybersecurity, and then go into probably having an open panel discussion. So you all will be able to come up. We'll be able to have this discussion together. But I'm gonna have to get to family stuff because I got some family stuff going on. And for those who are just coming to the stream, this is new, right? This just happened not too long ago. That's why I've been kind of away from the from YouTube content creation for the last several months. But I just had my little baby girl, and yeah, that's been occupying a lot of my time. Yeah, thanks. Like, oh, yo, what's good? What's good? Let's try. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Thanks again. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I definitely appreciate all the congrats. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to run over. I think I probably got to get a bottle or something, burp a baby or something. But we'll have the part 2 where we go into the ChatGPT. We're gonna start it off with ChatGPT, and then we're gonna open it up for some discussion. You all tell me some of your thoughts as well about ChatGPT, and I'm gonna open up for us to have a discussion and to talk about that subject. But thank you all for coming through. I do want to show you all. Wait. I do want to show you all my what you call it. I do want to show you all like my intro because I've been working. But not as much. But I've been working on some stuff with the channel. I just want to show you this really quickly, and hopefully you all enjoy. One second. And with that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed that. I got a little banner and thing. I'm seeing people like it. Doug says peace out, Doug. Kevati says looks good. Okay. Says I like it. Thank you all for the feedback, and I definitely appreciate it. Definitely. Let's Tro appreciate it. He said fire intro. Thank you. Yeah, listen, I've been working, just not as hard. Just not as hard on the channel, but more is coming. Femi says awesome. Akanyemi says awesome too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback. But with that said, I'm going to close us out here. And again, like I always say, thank you for coming through the Struggle Security, where we're normalizing struggling in cybersecurity, where we can dispel a lot of your struggles and have some of these really interesting cybersecurity and tech discussions. Thank you for coming through. All right. Peace out, everybody.